but one you take pride in doing yourself. So when you do, go to Advance Auto Parts. This month, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil conventional motor oil and a Purelator classic oil filter for only $22.99. Plus, enter to win free gas for a year, one winner daily. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
No purchase necessary for sweepstakes. See store for details.
Prostate problems are no laughing matter. The older you get, the more likely you'll have prostate problems, which can affect sleep and intimacy. The Prostate Formula from Real Health Labs has been helping men support normal prostate function and free urinary flow for years. Go to prostateformula.com, that's prostateformula.com, to receive a special offer. Look for the blue and white box at supercenters, drugstores, and leading retailers everywhere.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Be ye seeking rare and valuable coins? Storm the castle, matey. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake, that is. Silver and gold coins, U.S. coins with free verbal offers, and they always be on the lookout for those rare U.S. coins. Set sail for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, Tuesday through Saturday, and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bickaveris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Always a pleasure right here on this Wednesday, June 11, 2014. Greg Bickaveris, glad you're with us live on the radio right here on News Talk 1650 AM. Anywhere, 10,000-watt powerhouse. Listen to it all the way up until 95. You'll enjoy this great radio program, of course, every Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT. Take it with you on your phone, your laptop, your personal computer. Tunein.com. Type in WHKT. Also, watch me on sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. This is your home for CBS News in Hampton Roads. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook. Find me on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV. For more, log on to GJBTV.com. Go to the marketplace sponsors. Thank you to our military, what you do for us 24/7, not just on the holidays, but 24/7. Great guest lineup as well, presented by the Egg Bistro, of course, and we've got Lynn Burke from the Daily Press will join us as well. The guest lineup presented as well by Newcastle Coins and Collectibles and the Egg Bistro. Phone line presented by Old Town Tavern in Hampton. Sponsors this month for me on this radio station: Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, Old Town Tavern, Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Eddie's, Battlefield Guns and Ammo, and Crawl Space Stores. For more, go to the YouTube link on GJBTV.com. Shop on the marketplace sponsors. Shop there for Father's Day and save at GJBTV.com. Big announcement coming up with Hampton Roads Online Mall coming up online as well in a few weeks. If you want to call, save the number 454-1650 or the text line at 757-291-4234. With Ken Johnson, this is Greg Bickaveris live right here on the radio at 1210. We'll be back after these messages.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Let's get back to Greg Bigoveris and Sports Scene on 1650 WHKT.
But first, let me take a selfie.
All right, welcome back to News Talk 1650, live on the radio, anywhere in Hampton Roads, anywhere in the Southeast, right here. This is your Southeast home for CBS News. Of course, don't forget Laconical, 100% extra virgin olive oil. Folks, this is good stuff. I had this at the Newport News Greek Festival a few weeks ago, one of our great sponsors. Drizzling quality you can taste. It's available at Taste Unlimited from our harvest, your table, LACONIKO.com. Really good stuff. Go by and see Dino at laconical.com. Extra quality, 100% extra virgin olive oil. Tastes really good on your salads, your tomatoes, your cucumbers as well. Really good stuff. With olive oil running, it's excellent. Available at Taste Unlimited. Find them on Facebook at LACONIKO. Well, with that said, been hosting sports highlights since 1992. Been doing radio and TV here in this market for a long time. And another person who's been in Hampton Roads since the early 70s, 1970 for a matter of fact, Midwest Roots, Mr. Lynn Burke from the Daily Press, dailypress.com. Lynn, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Greg. How are you today?
Very good for this beautiful Wednesday. And of course, let's go ahead and just tell us about your background, Lynn. You've seen everything at the Daily Press, and really it's changed since the days when Manuel Lampros was there doing the printing press.
Right. I grew up in Ohio and graduated from high school out there. Went to college at Ohio University in Athens. Got my journalism degree there. Answered a blind ad in a magazine looking for a sports writer. Didn't say where it was. Called it up. Turned out it was Newport News. I did some interviews over the phone, and they hired me sight unseen. I've been here ever since. I've just covered a little bit of everything and watched the business evolve from hot metal and linotypes and the old style printing presses, to now where everything is computerized, the internet, 24/7 news, just a complete night and day change.
I remember a long time ago when I interviewed you on TV, and you said you couldn't wait to get home to watch CNN headline news to get the ticker. Boy, that's changed a lot since 1995 alone.
Oh, no question about it. I'm, sitting here with my laptop open, a couple of screens up, just checking news, checking weather, and checking sports scores and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's like you say, since '95, it's even the last 10 years, it's just changed so considerably.
Well, we're going to talk some sports here, and of course, a lot of different topics here with Lynn Burke, Greg Bigoveris. This is Sports Scene. Don't forget, it'll be archived tomorrow at gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Well, let's talk about prep realignment. You and I were talking about this off the air recently, and of course, the Daily Press coverage area for years was the Peninsula, but you've got teams now in the VHSL that are playing literally all over the state, and Hampton Roads is no exception, Lynn, with Peninsula and Southside teams playing all the time. Football, of course, is once a week, but the basketball and the Olympic sports really can be scattered.
It's a culture change for everybody. Talking about basketball, the Peninsula District model was to play boys and girls varsity doubleheaders at one site, JV doubleheaders at the other site. the Southeastern District, which is the Chesapeake and Suffolk schools, those are the schools that the Peninsula District schools are matched up with. Their model was to play a boys doubleheader at one site, girls doubleheader at the other site. So when the schools had to get together to put these new conferences together, some schools had to give up the way they did things to adopt the way that the other schools done it. So it's become kind of a mishmash here the first year.
Mm-hmm. But you talk about your coverage area for a long time prior to the internet was primarily the peninsula. You didn't go to Chesapeake that often to cover games unless it was the regionals or the postseason. No, for a while our coverage area included Suffolk, but then the newspaper, not sports decision, but overall decision was to pull back a bit. Mm-hmm. So sure, we covered the Peninsula, Hampton, Newport News, York County, Williamsburg, and Gloucester. The Virginia Pilot covered the South Side with Suffolk and Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. But now with the realignment, we're going one way and the Pilot's coming another way. Unfortunately, that we all get along very well, so exchange information. And if somebody's missing a game, we can call the other one up and go, do you have this game? And we'll exchange information fairly easily. It's almost like Back to the Future, because you remember back in the mid-'90s, Tab was in the Peninsula District for a while, and of course Gloucester used to be in the old York River District, and Tab would competitively play with Bethel and Hampton, and of course they played in the late 80s as well. But it's now like you see schools like that playing against Denby and other schools, and it really used to be like the old AA taking on the AAA, and it really wasn't absolutely fair because of quality of athletes and the quantity. But now it's just that's just the reality it is. And look at Grafton going into the state tournaments this weekend for spring sports. Grafton's baseball, softball, and boys soccer team all made the 4A semifinals on Friday up in Lynchburg. So, I think over the next several years, because a lot of us don't particularly like some of the aspects of the reorganization, and I know that in general the schools down here did not like it. I understand what the Virginia High School League is trying to do. They're trying to for the playoffs to put schools of like enrollment size together, where in the past there have been some pretty significant discrepancies. But I think as you get more and more into it, and I'm sure that after this first year that athletic directors and principals will sit back and look at things and make some tweaks, then make some more tweaks, and eventually it'll get into a working situation. I mean, what's happened is, tradition from 40, 50, 60 years has pretty much gone out the window. No Peninsula District basketball tournament. No regional basketball tournaments now at Scope. It's just it's very, very strange, and it's been very, very odd this school year. Well, here's the big problem the VHSL needs to address quick if this is going to go long term. Let's take sports out of it for a second. Just driving from the peninsula to the south side the gas prices are outrageous right now. I mean, I was going to Baltimore working for Fox this past weekend, saw gas prices go anywhere from $3.23 to $3.95 a gallon. And then going back to Charlottesville Monday with your two colleagues there from the Daily Press covering Virginia and Maryland. And of course, you see gas prices in Charlottesville, Lynn, at $3.23. You see them here about $3.49 a gallon. DC anywhere from $3.69 to $3.95. So I've covered pretty much of the state except for Roanoke there. But that, Lynn, you go to both sides of the water every day. It is not cheap, and those yellow school buses take up a lot more gas than most cars do. I was kidding one of the athletic directors over here that when they first put all these conferences together, that at least one of them should have been named Stuck on the Monitor Merrimack Conference because of the potential traffic problems. But you're correct, and it does involve much more travel than before. For example, Conference 10, which is a 5A conference called the Penn South, it has Hickory in it, which is almost down on the North Carolina state line, all the way to Gloucester, which, of course, is up on the Middle Peninsula. And I had a situation a couple of weeks ago where I believe it was Hickory and Great Bridge playing in one of the conference soccer tournament finals. And because the tournament was being hosted by Gloucester, they had to go all the way to Gloucester to play that. And I'm sure that probably nobody wanted to see that game. Yep, talking to Lynn Burke from Daily Press, dailypress.com. It does affect attendance when you have different types of JV or varsity girls with the boys varsity or girls varsity. And of course, let me ask you this, Lynn, as we're getting a few months away from football practice and football season, hard to believe with school graduations going on. A couple things. It used to be for years Bethel, Hampton, Phoebus, Heritage were the hallmarks of the peninsula, and for the South Side as well. They were the strong teams, especially Bethel when Kaz was there, Mike Smith in his heyday, and of course Phoebus with Bill D. But now it seems like it's more of the South Side schools being the dominating schools like Oscar Smith. They're the ones getting the national TV appearances. You know, us, Chesapeake, and Hampton have been doing local games on TV since the 90s, but Oscar Smith is getting the national TV games, the games that are, of course, we webcast them that are national, but still, they're getting the ones over Phoebus and Hampton. That is really a great feather in the cap for Oscar Smith, getting on national TV pretty much every year.
Really is. I think this will be the fourth straight year.
Sure.
This year, Oscar Smith is going to play a team from Florida, Booker T. Washington High School, I believe, from Miami. What originally wanted to do was play Ocean Lakes, which would have been just a matchup of perhaps the two best teams in Hampton Roads next fall. But the Virginia Beach, the Beach District, which is comprised of all Virginia Beach schools, they play an insular schedule. There are 11 schools, so they play the other 10 opponents. And so they would have had to let Ocean Lakes not play one of those schools. They weren't willing to do that, so that game fell through. But Oscar Smith was able to pick up the game against the team from Florida. But you're absolutely correct. It's wonderful exposure on television, and it brings some people in and brings some national folks in to watch the games. It's nice for those schools.
Yeah, we saw Hackenberg a few years ago. Of course, he's playing for Penn State a couple of years ago, and of course, Oscar Smith has had those games on national TV as well. Mike Smith, head coach of Hampton since 1971. Any sign of slowing down?
Not at this point.
Wow.
Mike has won 444 games, and this is a stat that I stumbled across. I was doing some research.
Sure.
He is the fifth winningest coach in the history of football.
Unbelievable.
Not high school football, of football. There are 4 high school coaches ahead of him, and one coach at a Division III school in Minnesota who is since retired. Nobody in Division I, Division II, nobody in Division I or Division II, nobody in junior colleges or the NAI or the NFL past him. He is the fifth winningest coach history of football, and his teams haven't had the success the last 5, 6, 7 years that they'd had in the past, but they still win 8, 9, 10 games a year. And there are an awful lot of schools out there that would be happy just to have that.
Yeah, and plus he's won all the state championships, even if he doesn't ever even win another game to last a lifetime. Let's switch gears a little bit as we're talking to Lynn Burke. This is Greg Bicoveris. This is Sports Scene live on the radio right here at 1223 on News Talk 1650. Go to tunein.com, type in WHKT. A former Bethel and Tab player is coaching Virginia, has been the head coach there since 2010. And I was at the Virginia game, as I told you, against Maryland on Monday, and people were saying, where's Sonny Randall and, of course, Dick Bestwick at? When you hear those names mentioned with Mike London, that's not good, Lynn.
No, it's the success hasn't been there, and this may well be the season that determines whether he continues or whether they turn elsewhere. I mean, when they hired him away from Richmond, he'd won the FCS national championship there.
Sure.
Everything looked bright, but the performance hasn't been there. And more probably appallingly for the athletic administration, the crowds haven't been there.
Oh, yeah. By the second half, I mean, there's just dwindling, nobody there. And, of course, that affects advertising sponsors. It's a trickling down effect. Of course, he did play for Bethel and Kaz, and he played for Tab as well. The Redskins training camp not too far away, up in Richmond, not too far. And, of course, you guys covered that as well. And now the Patriots are going to be there, too, as well. A little interesting mix. But one thing about the Redskins, all this hype they always do every year, it's low-key this year with the new coaching administration. But you know what? They need to just focus on the 16-game regular season and forget all this hoopla stuff, in my opinion.
There's been so much stuff around Washington in the last several years, drafting RG3 and with him coming in as the quarterback. And last year, when the training camp went to Richmond, would he start the season? And he'd had the injury the year before. And plus, Daniel Snyder, the owner, is a lightning rod for criticism. And now we're starting to see more criticism of the nickname Redskins being ramped up, some advertising. So it might be low-key now, but I suspect once they get to Richmond, it will start heating up.
And you can't win with the Redskins. I mean, people are going to criticize their name, but they've been that well before. Snyder, I mean, he owned our radio stations where I used to work at from 07 to 13. He's got his hands in everything. But, Cleveland Indians, Kansas City Chiefs, Wayne Mary used to be called the Indians as well. I mean,
right, not just called the Tribe. And I see where the Cleveland Indians, said they're going to keep the Indians nickname, and they had their mascot was Chief Wahoo.
Yeah.
They're going to keep that mascot, but going to make it like a secondary mascot.
Even Virginia, Wahoo Wah, that's what they always say for the Cavaliers. Talking to Lynn Burke. A few more nuggets here before we let him go. He'll come back one again in August and join us in the studio. Lynn, let's talk about the recent golf tournament. And I was telling this to Scott Cash last week, and I've even told it to Wayne Noe as well. And, of course, it was a heyday event when the men were there. The women, of course, have a better attitude. People like the women better, but it seems like the novelty has somewhat worn off. And I think Kingsmill made a big mistake when they've closed their access to the public as far as going to lunch there or using facilities. Now you have to be a member to go there to the restaurant, except during tournament week. It's open during tournament week. But it seems like you would want to keep the access open. I know your newspaper does cover the Williamsburg area pretty well, but what is going on with the golf tournament? It seems like sponsors are always an issue. Attendance has been an issue, and it seems like the buzz is taking a little bit of time to come back from them being idle for a couple of years.
Right, of course, when it was the men's tournament, they were paying out, X number of dollars in prize money. One of the reasons they switched to the LPGA was so they could pay a lesser amount. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point where there was no tournament there for a couple of years, and when it did come back, the prize money was even less. Mm-hmm. It's always a tournament, seeking a title sponsor. It seems like it's fun to be up there. The golfers that are there are just as accommodating as can be. They're willing to answer questions, and I see them interact with people on the course, signing autographs and posing for pictures and things like that. But it's the major sporting event on the peninsula side of the water every year. So it's got I think about another 3-year commitment still to run before they have to make a decision again, and hopefully it'll stay for a good long while.
What are you hearing about attendance, Lynn? Of course, you talk about that event, but you also look at the Tides and the Admirals. Even the Admirals struggle with attendance during the postseason. The Tides, it seems like somewhat that novelty has worn off a little bit. People are having trouble paying the ticket prices, paying the parking, paying the concessions. Like going to a movie theater. It's about what you can do, or going out to dinner so many times a week. How's that affecting the sports landscape of attendance in Hampton Roads? Well,
I think in this area there's so many things to do. You've got the beach to go to. You've got movies and so forth to go to, and sometimes that to take a family of 4 to a ball game might get a little costly, and parents might say, well, with the economy the way it is, we might be better off just putting that money somewhere else.
And how can people get a hold of you? Of course, dailypress.com. I guess that website's getting right up there with your daily print edition, pretty much as far as visibility, right, Lynn?
Right, of course, dailypress.com and our high school website, hrvarsity.com. Mm-hmm. And then we have the daily, as we call it, the daily print product.
Very good. Of course, 7 days a week. Of course, it was always a pleasure. And, of course, some great people have written there over the years as well, like Charles Karmosky and yourself and so many great people over the years, like Sam Mayo, so many great people at the Daily Press, even Charlie Den, Jay Monday, really excellent writers there over the years, Virginia Biggins. You can go on and on and on. Lynn, thank you for all that you do, and we'll see you again in a couple months, my friend.
We'll talk to you then.
Very good. All right. Lynn Burke right there from the Daily Press. Ken, give us like a Hampton Roads landscape, from how this area has changed from a sports landscape, but also, as far as weather, traffic, it all goes hand in hand with 64.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's all, how can you get there from here? And around here, it's an always an easy deal, especially with the increase in traffic. And now with tolls putting a different dynamic into it, it's changed quite a bit.
Well, the tolls here are still cheaper than going to Maryland and Delaware and New Jersey. I will give it that, but it's still expensive. But it just shows you how technology has changed. You remember the peninsula on the south side used to be long distance just to call Newport News to Virginia Beach.
Yeah, and even just to call from Virginia Beach to Suffolk, or back in those days, Princess Anne County to Suffolk. Yes, we do remember when Chesapeake and Virginia Beach were still counties, and they weren't even cities yet. Should I admit to being that old?
Yeah, you're still young, Kenny. You're still young.
That's it. I'm experienced.
Absolutely. And, of course, now, real quick before Ken gets his update, the Spurs are up 2-1 over the Heat. The Kings The LA up 3 over the Rangers in hockey. Ken Johnson, Sports Scene continues with highlights, what teased me off, and some more great business segments.
And dude, I'm assuming we're going to talk about California Chrome.
Oh, yeah.
And the comments made about that, we got to talk about that.
What teased me off, we'll bring it up.
Good deal. All right. Coming up on 12:30 here in just a matter of moments, CBS News will be giving us an update on the news as well, what's going on. And, of course, stay tuned for more of Sports Scene with some great guests coming up and great topics, and you don't want to miss what teased me off, because a lot of things tee us off, and I'm sure you share those things as well. All right, taking a quick look at traffic. No major problems out there. We've got construction work going on and maintenance work in a variety of locations. They're doing milling and paving on 264 up around Newtown Road. The only bridge opening we have on the schedule so far is 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Yes, I said 3 a.m. tomorrow morning at the Downtown Tunnels Berkeley Bridge. With the downtown tunnel westbound closed overnights and that kind of morning, there's probably not a lot of traffic, but just FYI, if you're one of the few folks that will be affected by that, that's going on tomorrow morning at 3 o'clock. What is going on is a lot of humidity and a lot of rain. We've got partly cloudy skies. It's going to be humid for the rest of the day, 88 degrees, probably feeling more like around 92 with that humidity. Then some evening thunderstorms are supposed to waft in tonight, a low of 72, and then tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. It'll be humid again. Scattered thunderstorms in the forecast, a high of 84. Scattered thunderstorms Friday, 85. Scattered thunderstorms Saturday, a high of 80. Sunday, no scattered thunderstorms, partly cloudy, and a high of 81 degrees. What happened? Well, we get them back on Monday, so stay tuned. CBS News is next. It's 12:31.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kaith. And on Capitol Hill, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel defends the deal to free American captive Bo Bergdahl. He says time was working against them.
The exchange needed to take place quickly, efficiently, and quietly. We believe this exchange was our last, best opportunity to free him.
He appeared before the House Armed Services Committee and Chairman Buck McKeon of California.
This transfer sets a dangerous precedent in negotiating with terrorists.
Hagel says the decision to swap 5 Taliban fighters was not made lightly.
As Secretary of Defense, I have the authority and the responsibility, as has been noted here, to determine whether detainees can be transferred to the custody of another country. I take that responsibility, Mr. Chairman, members of this committee, damn seriously.
Hagel says there's no evidence linking U.S. combat deaths to the effort to find Bergdahl. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner. A local place in every sense of the word, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers in a basket, crab cakes, salads, appetizers, and much, much more. Open 7 days a week, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, in a spacious and pleasant atmosphere. They have daily lunch specials, live music, and entertainment. Find Old Town Tavern on Facebook and visit them at 31 East Mellon Street in the Phoebus section of Hampton, with plenty of great parking in the back. Call 251-2636. That's 251-2636. Serving seafood, sandwiches, salads, wings. You can't beat Old Town Tavern. Bringing good food and great people together in the Old Town of Phoebus. Old Town Tavern in Phoebus, the locals' choice.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
Summer is here, and so are the Norfolk Tides. Catch the fun and excitement as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow today. Log on to NorfolkTides.com for more information on season tickets, groups, ticket discounts, and Tides merchandise. And don't forget to follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and team information. Tides Baseball, minor leagues, major fun.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by GJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors Page.
Thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Of course, GJBTV.com. Ken, your thoughts on the weather right now? It's just so hot outside.
Hot, muggy, just, it's that time of year when we start getting into the summertime weather. So just, be careful out there. Try to be cool. Drink lots of fluids. The usual standard operational procedure. Loose-fitting, light-colored clothing when it's sunny out. But overall, just try to find as many air-conditioned spaces as you possibly can.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. We'll talk about that, what tees me off. We got a lot of good stuff. What tees me off grows and grows by popularity each week. GJBTV.com, archive shows, click the YouTube link. Also go to archive shows on GJBTV.com. Shop the Marketplace sponsors, save for Father's Day. Ken, happy Father's Day coming up.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
What you got planned?
Well, we got two already and then one in the oven. So as far as anything to do, my favorite day off, my favorite holiday, my favorite celebration is...
What's that?
Nothing. Do as little as possible. Chill, relax. You know what my favorite job would be?
What's that?
The grass growing monitor.
Well, how about somebody cutting the grass in the heat?
Oh, no, I don't want to cut it. I just want to watch it grow.
Oh, okay, not bad.
The person who monitors the rate of grass growing. Or I was thinking of paint drying monitor, but that's too many fumes.
My ideal job would be like sitting in the ocean front with an igloo with iced tea all around me and just watching the water change current and graphing that for 8 hours a day. But falling asleep and taking naps as well. All right, save the date each Wednesday for Sports Scene for Ken and I's laughter. Great guests, like always. We're going to have some really, really good guests. It was at the Oakland A's Orioles game. Got some good ones coming up as well in a few weeks. Business Spotlight Scene, very popular on this show. What teased me off a little bit later. Don't forget sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Got the NBA Finals, Heat and Spurs. For more, log on to GJBTV.com. Ken, we'll be back after these messages right here on Sports Scene.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Be seeking rare and valuable coins? Storm the Castle, matey. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake, that is. Silver and gold coins, U.S. coins with free verbal offers, and they always be on the lookout for those rare U.S. coins. Set sail for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, Tuesday through Saturday, and always online at NewcastleCollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Summer is here, and so are the Norfolk Tides. Catch the fun and excitement as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow today. Log on to NorfolkTides.com for more information on season tickets, groups, ticket discounts, and Tides merchandise. And don't forget to follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and team information. Tides Baseball, minor leagues, major fun. Let's get back to Greg Bigoveris and Sports Scene on 1650 WHKT.
I see you move I'm checking your smile, working your back like it's going out of style.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us right here during the midday hour, during the lunch hour, live on the radio, live online. Gotta love national radio. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT, listen to it on your phone, your personal computer, wherever you might be on the road. Hello to all the great drivers out there. Be safe while you're driving. Make sure you do buckle up like always and don't talk and drive at the same time. This is Sports Scene each Wednesday from 12 to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 as well. Presented by the Yedo Palace Cafe, Greek Specialties, American Favorites. We deliver 4391 Ironbound Road in Williamsburg. Give them a call at 564-0000 as well. Of course, one of our great guests, we always talk to him yearly, one of the nicer venues in Hampton Roads as far as quality of life, in my opinion. 40th anniversary, the Virginia Opera, of course. I want to welcome as well Mr. Russell Allen, the CEO. Russell, welcome to Hampton Roads.
Well, thanks, Greg, very much. It's great to be here today.
Always a pleasure. And you talk about the quality of life there, and really, you know, you guys are really get it. You don't overdo it. 4 or 5 shows a year, excellent quality shows, great performances by the vocal actors and the performers on stage, whether it's kids or adults, and it really all comes together. And, of course, the big one coming up is Sweeney Todd.
Absolutely. Sweeney Todd will debut on September 26th at the Harrison Opera House. And it's really one of those titles that sort of, straddles the line between opera and Broadway. And it really has, I think, a real strong universal appeal and is something that everybody will want to see.
We always talk about actors, performers, whether it's the sports field or the playing field, whatever, but these are top-of-the-line talent that you guys have each year at your wonderful venue in Norfolk.
Absolutely. And acting, of course, is very much a part of opera, in addition to beautiful vocal sound. And it's amazing to see these actors, singers get up on stage and just really deliver the role through both, their body movements and their vocal sound. And Sweeney Todd, of course, has some great melodies and is something that everybody will really enjoy.
Before we talk about the other performances, I went to George Mason, of course. How are you guys affiliated with Fairfax's George Mason University Center for the Arts and also Richmond's Carpenters Theater as well at Center Stage? How are you affiliated with all three?
Well, we have 3 homes. We put together the production basically in Hampton Roads at the Harrison Opera House, perform there, and then we go to the Carpenter Center in Richmond, and then to George Mason with the exact same show. Mm-hmm. And this past season, we started a new venue out at the Sandler Center at Virginia Beach. And we will be back there at the Sandler Center for a couple productions this coming year. So we'll be both at the Harrison Opera House and Sandler Center. But it's what the Richmond audiences and the Fairfax audiences see is exactly what anybody who went to the Harrison Opera House would see. Same sets, same costumes, same singers. It's really what I guess you'd call taking the show on the road. Mm-hmm. And we really have a strong support and audiences in all 3 markets.
We're talking to Russell Allen, of course, President and CEO of the Virginia Opera, of course. And you mentioned the Sandler Center. For the tourists that are in town right now, because we have a lot in the town, do they do that to boost some of the attendance for their place because y'all have done so well in Norfolk? Is that what was the original thought behind those 2 productions?
Pretty much so. I think that, we have a growing audience, and we find that there are a lot of people in Virginia Beach who are now going to the Sandler Center. So we're just taking our productions there as well. Virginia Beach with the Sandler Center, of course, has a growing arts scene, and we want to be a part of it.
Well, let's talk about some of the other performances. Of course, HMS Pinafore, Salome, and La Traviata.
Well, I'd be happy to talk about that, Greg, but there's one other thing that I did want to mention.
Sure.
On September 6th, we're going to be down at Town Point Park for a free outdoor concert. Nice. And we'll be having with us the Virginia Symphony, and it'll be Opera Under the Stars. And we'll be doing on September 6th at 7:30 at Town Point Park a performance of opera favorites, hosted and narrated by our incredible principal conductor, Adam Turner. So I hope that everybody will mark that date on their calendars.
My mother, ever since I was a kid, Mary Beccaveras, who's passed away back in 2001, always had me getting involved with the arts, and that's why I love the arts and theater and acting so much. It's just such high quality of life to this area. People talk about the oceanfront during the summer, but there's a lot more in Hampton Roads beyond the summer, and the Virginia Opera is a part of that. Talk about some of the highlights over the last 40 years.
Well, we've had an incredible 40 years. Of course, this is our 40th anniversary season coming up. One of the titles that we started out with 40 years ago was La Traviata. So that's why we're bringing La Traviata back this season. And we will be performing that next spring. And it'll be in a brand new production. We're building a new production with Des Moines Metro Opera in Des Moines, Iowa. And it's really going to be a gorgeous set. We've got wonderful singers, and one of our veteran stage directors, Lillian Groeg, will be coming in to direct that. She's been with us probably on and off each season for the past 20-plus years. So it'll be an exciting production and a great way to close the season.
Yeah, and how about HMS Pinafore, Salome, and La Traviata? Give us a few nuggets about each one of those.
Well, the HMS Pinafore, of course, is a classic operetta by Gilbert and Sullivan. It's total fun. It'll be performed in English, of course, as will Sweeney Todd. Both are performed in English. And HMS Pinafore will feature some zany characters and some really lush tunes, and it's one of those shows where you leave the theater humming. Salome, which takes place in January, February, right in through there, is a classic opera by Richard Strauss, who is one of the top German composers of the late 19th, early 20th century. And it's based on the biblical story of Salome, and really is a wonderful, beautiful opera, and it's short. It's a short opera. For those of you who don't like to sit too long, you can come and be in and out of the theater in 2 hours.
Nice.
But it's beautiful music and something I think everybody would enjoy. And then, of course, La Traviata, I mentioned already, is one of the pieces we started with at Virginia Opera, and we'll conclude our 40th anniversary season with this next spring.
And the website's vaopera.org. And, of course, do you have time to go to other operas around the country or go to Broadway and get some ideas and bring them back here to Hampton Roads sometimes?
Absolutely. I do that all the time. I was recently up in Baltimore seeing an opera production that Baltimore Lyric Opera did. Was recently in Pittsburgh seeing a production that Pittsburgh Opera did. I'm actually going to Des Moines in July to see our co-production of La Traviata that they'll be producing first, and then we'll bring to Hampton Roads, Richmond, and Fairfax in April.
And lucky you, it probably won't be as humid in Iowa either, will it?
I hope not.
Yeah.
It's pretty humid today.
Like in Broadway, since we have a little bit of a sports theme here as well, there's a lot of sports type shows on Broadway. Different various athletes have done stuff as well. Have there been any sports operas over the years that you know of, Russell?
I don't know so much about sports operas. There's one opera we've been looking at doing that Puccini wrote that's based on the Wild West, and that's called The Girl of the Golden West, and we'll probably be doing that in a couple of years here pretty quick. But, of course, there was a big sports Broadway show, and that was Damn Yankees. And that was produced, I think, in the late 50s for the first time, and that's a real fun show to do. But it's interesting that you bring up Broadway because we have done Broadway shows on and off over the past few years. But if anybody was watching the Tony Awards the other night, the director of the play that won Best Musical, The Gentleman's Guide, was a director that we had used at Virginia Opera 3 or 4 times in the last 10 years. So it's really sort of exciting to see a Tony Award for direction going to one of the directors that we've been using here at Virginia Opera.
Well, go ahead and give us your the website, of course, is vaopera.org. Give our best to your staff. Go ahead and unplug your numbers and how people can get a hold for subscriptions and get ticket sales.
I think actually the best way is to go to our website at www.vaopera.org and order your tickets online. You're more than welcome to call the office and the box office if you want specific help, or if there's something that you aren't able to figure out, and just call 627-9545. And you'll get through to our box office.
Last thing, you mentioned Broadway, as did I. Have there ever been any thoughts, Russell, about just doing a traditional theater performance since you have such a beautiful venue? I think the best seating arrangement I've ever been to of any performing arts place in Hampton Roads as well. I mean, just a beautiful facility in Norfolk you've got there, and excellent parking too. Has there ever been a thought of a theater show like A Christmas Carol or something like that?
We have done various specials during the course of the year. We haven't developed one for the holiday time frame. We do try to often make the production that just leads up to the holidays, as HMS Pinafore will do this year. We try to make that production often be a production that really is more lighthearted and something more in keeping with the season's festivities. So that's one of the things we do. We currently don't have anything that is actually during the month of December.
Well, Russell, thanks for your time, your talent, and your treasure. All that you do in Hampton Roads for the arts community, really, it adds a quality of life unlike anything else in Virginia. I would say right up there with anything people do is the Virginia Opera. All the best to you and your staff, and please say hello to them for me as well.
Thank you, Greg, very much. Appreciate the time.
Always a pleasure. All right, Ken, right there. Russell P. Allen, President and CEO of the Virginia Opera, and really the young and the old, it's nothing like what we do in radio and TV is time, talent, and treasure, but for them to keep up their vocal cords that long and project to a live audience is not easy.
One of my award-winning video productions was with the Virginia Opera, where we did Rigoletto, and they did the Rigoletto. They updated it as a gangster, 1930s gangster type venue instead of the original, which was very good. I had a chance to see firsthand. Now, they rehearse lower key, but you have to sustain that full voice for the actual show for a great length of time, and move around and act and emote and hit your marks, all that. It really does take a lot of work. They're athletes. They rehearse with the things on your knees and elbows so that you don't hurt yourself. They really are very athletic, and you have to be in great shape. And if you haven't seen one, if you've never been, go and see one. Even if you don't even understand the English, and they have the English subtitles up on the screen, go and see it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, 3 performances in September for Sweeney Todd, 2 in October in Richmond, and 2 in Fairfax at George Mason. Like Ken said, the rehearsals for your voice. I keep my voice fresh on radio and TV like Ken does all the time, but for doing that at night when you're fatigued is not easy as well in front of a live audience. Ken, let's take a short break and come back with our another business spotlight.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brake, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your homestead and your business and quality of life can give you peace of mind, but there are some bad hombres out there. Keep it all safe with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. You can't take anything for granted, whether you're at the ranch or out on the trail. Call 757-410-7720. Log on to battlefield-guns.com and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Let's get back to Greg Bigoveris and Sports Scene on 1650 WHKT.
What is this I'm feeling? If you wanna leave, I'm with it. We've come too far to give up who we are. So let's raise the bar and our cause.
Thank you, the eloquent Ken Johnson. Nick Matthews, go ahead and plug the golf tournament. Thank you for being improvised. Remember, I was in Charlottesville a few days ago watching your Cavaliers, so thank you for being flexible. What's going on with the Big AHEPA golf tournament?
All right, well, we're really excited about it. This is our fourth golf tournament that we're having, and all proceeds are to benefit scholarships for the local area. It's Friday, June the 20th, at Kill Creek Golf Club and Resort. Registration starts at 11. We have it a 1 o'clock shotgun start. It's going to be a four-man captain's choice, and the registration fee is $100 per golfer, and that includes, of course, the golf and dinner afterwards.
Very nice. At Killen Creek, a beautiful facility right there in Newport News off of Jefferson Avenue.
That's correct. And we're real pleased with the golf course. We're here. It's in good shape, and we're looking forward to another successful tournament.
Beautiful facility, and of course, it benefits the AHEPA. And again, give us the date and the how many players are you expecting, Nick?
Well, we're hoping to get a full 72 players. Right now, we're a little bit short of that, but we still have time to register. And there's two people that they can actually contact. I want to give you email addresses. If somebody was interested in a packet, we could send it to them. It could go to Nick Matthews, of course, and email is Nikos, Nikos Matthews, Matthews, @gmail.com.
Okay, and a phone number?
My number is 804-815-4321.
Excellent facility at Killen Creek, benefiting a great cause in the AHEPA. And Nick, and we look forward to seeing you out there. Thanks for all that you do for AHEPA. And of course, anybody can join AHEPA, correct?
That's right. I mean, it's open to everyone. We've been established since 1922. We're founded in Atlanta, Georgia. Our scope is international. We have chapters in the United States, Canada, Greece, Cyprus, and sister chapters in Australia and New Zealand. We have over 400 chapters and 28 districts, so we're very proud of that.
And for more, Google AHEPA. Nick, thanks for all that you do. Say hello to your family, and all the best for the rest of the summer.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Nick Matthews talking about the golf event coming up on the peninsula. Ken, let's get to what tees me off.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
Ken, it seems like everybody likes abbreviations these days. I mean, really, do I know what your abbreviations mean? First was HA, LOL, LMAO, but really abbreviations for everything? Not everybody knows what abbreviations are.
Yeah, I guess, and you see that a lot on license plates, too. You think you're really cool putting the abbreviation out either online or on a license plate, but if other people don't know what it means, then that kind of loses the point, doesn't it?
SMH, shaking my head.
Oh, is that what that stands for?
Yeah, I finally found out what that is. Yeah, I mean, what does that mean? I mean, Jesus. People littering on the road, going to Baltimore, then going to Charlottesville. Goodness gracious, please don't throw your cigarette butts out of the windows. It's not good. That can cause a fire. And also, please put your bottle in your car.
Yeah, if you're a gum chewer, the world is not your trash can. If you're a smoker, the world is not your ashtray. There aren't ashtrays in cars anymore, but you can certainly put something in the car to put all that stuff in and then throw it away when you get home.
Absolutely. People who race on the roads, and folks, don't do it. The state police are watching you.
on the roads, and especially on the secondary roads. It's bad enough on the interstates, but I see people flying down roads with 35-mile-per-hour speed limits. Usually it's the young kids in the little Fast and Furious cars thinking that they're Vin Diesel or something. Come on, guys. It's just a movie. And look what happened to Paul, one of the stars in that movie. They were doing the same thing, and he died.
Nobody's entitled on the roads. Both hands on the wheel, 9-3, 12-2. Ken, finally you brought it up. The Triple Crown did not go to the traditional Preakness and Kentucky Derby winner, but the Chrome owner went off. But, he's not a villain. He's not the worst guy. Anytime you put a microphone in front of an athlete or coach or a manager or an owner after a loss, you're going to be frustrated. He was frustrated.
Yeah, and he makes a good point. If you're going to be gauging the horses by what they can do in all three races, Triple Crown, then all three races should be run by the same horses. It just makes sense. You don't change up teams usually for any other sport. Why do they allow it in horse racing? It doesn't make much sense.
Want to thank Lynn Burke from the Daily Press, Nick Matthews talking about the AHEPA golf tournament, Google AHEPA, Russell Allen from the Virginia Opera. Ken, excellent show. Thanks for all that you do. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. Watch radio and TV shows there. Also, watch me on Sports Highlights on nnpstv.com. This is Sports Scene on News Talk 1650 AM. Type WHKT on tunein.com. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Happy Wednesday. Stay cool. We'll talk to you soon.